Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Taurus, so we have the Six of Cups, which has everything to do with pleasure. Pleasure, 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 right? So this archetype, this particular card, I always kind of think of it as being somebody or a time when you've been through a lot. Okay, you've been through a lot. Things have not gone your way at times. I mean, some really deep, like tower moment type stuff, right? Loss. That's the big thing that I feel here, the sense of loss. But when we have the Six of Cups, it's not just about like, yeah, you've been through all this stuff and it's, it's really put you through your ordeals but the emphasis is less on this, and it's shifting into your ability to enjoy things to a level that most people cannot. They can't even imagine because they haven't been through the suffering that you've been through. And I'm not romanticizing suffering. Okay. I've had a hard life too. It's been difficult at times. And if you've watched my readings, it's been just like anybody else. We all have our things, but there's something about knowing how bad things can be, knowing how unfair life can be, or knowing that there is no such thing as like fairness. Sometimes things just happen to people and it makes no sense. Good people get the bad end of things sometimes. Bad people get the whole world sometimes, and it doesn't make sense. But here, I feel you really starting to have these moments of just rising feelings, emotions, belovedness, joy. In moments, joy. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to turn this cup, bowl, whatever you want to call it, and go ahead and take a look here. And I want to say thank you so much for deciding to click on this reading. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, that really helps the channel. Also, I love hearing from you, and I don't want you to miss any readings. The other thing that I've been asking is, what are you reading? I'm looking for something new. I've been reading Clarice Lispector a lot lately, and some Anais Nin, who both are, I'm revisiting their work. They are both very profound inspirations in my own personal life. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know which direction to go in. So if you have anything that you've read or you are currently reading that you want to share with me or the collective here, put it in the comments. All right, let's go. So we have the number, it looks like 60. Well, we have 6 right here. 668. So we have 668 as a number. And it feels that it must be a Cancer person because we have a crab right here, But we also have one right here where you can see, and this one's like really, you can see it's a crab. Right in there, okay? You can see. Here's the body, the eyes, and the little claws, okay? Now, we also have a person standing here. It looks like they're in a robe with arms kind of up on a cliff. Very dramatic, kind of almost like this, like a religious painting or something. So it feels like a sense of revelation. But you can see that the arms are mirroring the crab. Now, it looks like a person is holding the crab up. We have the head here. This is the body, okay? So we have this real feeling of, I feel like maybe it's a parent, or maybe this is your partner and they have co-parented with you. But I do feel like we have a Cancer or a person that really exhibits the traits of the crab, which is, yeah, they're kind of maybe very introverted. They are, in their shell a lot. They like to be alone probably most of the time, or at least like kind of in their own lane, kind of minding their own business. Kind of moody, mercurial, maybe prone to melancholy or the blues. And maybe, somebody with kind of a sharp tongue, can be cruel, but also expresses themselves very well, right? So maybe a writer or somebody that's very creative with some kind of language, right? So I feel that in this time, this person in your life, I feel that you're connecting. And I think this is within the realm of faith, religion, spiritual, I was going to say spiritual magnetism for some reason, but I feel like it's like this pull, this deepening, not even just an interest, a need to connect, right? To the divine, to the magic, to that greater unknown, that mystery thing. And I feel like this is one of the places that you connect the most deeply. And I think this is something that is important to you. Not that you have to be with somebody that has the exact same beliefs as you, but I feel like it's important to you that they have some kind of belief, right? And so in this connection that you have here, this is one of the most important connecting qualities, is that you both are very focused on your interior space, your self-development, but also, your relationship with the divine, or whatever it is. It could be sciences, right? Or philosophy, or whatever it is that is moving to you. And I feel like that is profound. It is very profound. I could see a Taurus and a Cancer really kind of being a great couple, honestly. They seem like you guys would balance each other out. If you've been married to a Cancer or dated a Cancer, or maybe you're a parent to a Cancer, your parents are Cancers, let me know. What is the connection like between a Taurus and a Cancer? All right, so we do have the Tower right here. It is not a flame, so that's good. This is like one of the pillars of your life. But now over here we have a Tower as well, and I feel like this is another fundamental part of your life, and you are shifting from really focusing on one to focusing on the other. Okay, so I do feel like probably you go from like this real spiritual focus, self-develop, and I'm stopping because it feels like it is very much in that belief sphere, but it's also about your self-development, like your spiritual alchemy, right? I think that you're also doing deep, like, therapeutic work. Now, I feel like something is arising in your life where you're also focused on something more in the material world. Now, I know that your relationship is very much dwelling in this zone because I feel like you all are very into doing whatever. If, maybe you have ceremonies, rituals, you live a life of magical thinking and creating and this kind of thing. Now, I feel like in the physical world, though, there is a real emphasis on I believe that this has to be building something physically. So I wonder if there's maybe a repair on the home, or maybe you're doing some kind of renovation, or you're building a shed or something. I don't know. But I do feel like now you're kind of turning to focus on the projects that you have in your physical world. Okay. And for the next while, I feel like this is where you're going to be focused. Okay. Now that doesn't mean you're abandoning the spiritual work or the self work, not by any means. I think that these two things, because look, they're parallel, they go together, right? And they flow into one another. So I feel like this is a wonderful place also to employ those spiritual, religious, or philosophical beliefs and practices onto where you're doing the work. And, this is where things like Taoism, this resurgence of Stoicism that's going on, these are the kinds of things that we can really apply to doing the work of our life. Okay. So many tools within all of these systems. So I see this as being a time where you're really making a lot of forward strides, right? And it feels good. And I feel you being very confident in this. Now, I also feel, and we have a dog carrying a fish. I feel that there's a moment here where you're surprised by somebody that you love deeply. This is like a best friend, a deep bond with them. This is somebody you trust. They're loyal. You guys are ride or dies, right? It's like you're never not going to be there for each other. Well, I feel like they kind of show up, and if you're older like me, we can have best friends that we don't see for months, and you just pick up where you left off. But I feel like they show up in your life here. And with the fish in their mouth, that's money, resources, okay? So I feel like there's almost a sense of them bringing you into the party, okay? Like you get a call and they're like, okay, hey, I got us cruise tickets, or I got us tickets to go to this concert, this festival, or let's hit the road for a little road trip this weekend. So I do feel like you're being invited into a situation that ends up being very fun. Let me just emphasize, this seems like a lot of fun. Down here, it feels like we have a tangle of people, and I hear music. That's the big thing. I feel like there's music, it's festive, you're enjoying yourself, and you're with somebody you really care about and you love, and you're sharing in this this moment that I almost feel like, because it was a surprise, because you didn't know it was going to happen, it's all the more sweet, all the more exciting. So lean into it, okay? Lean into it. Now, we're going to go over here. We have, it looks like a flower right here. We also have, it looks like a fairy and a little hen, a chicken, so very much mother energy. Ooh, we have a little island with a palm tree. I feel you being pulled into nature. Look at this person standing here. There's flowers all around, a heart. Oh, and then sitting. Look, it looks like a person. Here's the head, the body sitting, holding the flower. That also looks like the star. So, yes, absolutely. I feel like you're going to be outdoors, in the garden, doing, yard work, going for walks, hikes, bonfires, whatever it is. Get outside as much as you can. As much as you can. Get out there. Look at the beauty out there. Look at the many things, the microcosms. I love to just sometimes lay down on the grass and pull apart the leaves and the dandelions and the grass and everything else and kind of push aside some rocks. And then you look down and you see all these little bugs and mites and, the little isopods and plants, the little microplants, a whole universe going on right beneath your feet, and then you look out and you see, there's endless little universes out here. If you looked at an acre of lawn, for instance, or of field, hopefully, right, of like a meadow, you could think, there's millions of little beings living their lives, doing their business, and that to me is so profound. So I feel like sometimes we need this reminder, this grounding, and I feel like that's where you're at. That's where you're at. You are just so connected to it all and feeling that connection deeply flowing through all of those sacred chakra spaces. But the ones that really, really stand out to me, the heart chakra and the base chakra. Those seem so activated right now for you. Okay? So a lot of love, a push towards serenity, and a feeling of, like the safety of a mother. That's what I feel like you have that kind of peace in your heart, like a little baby laying on their mommy, full of milk, just absolutely comforted, all of the sustenance they need to be held and loved and spoken to and listened to and all of these kinds of feelings that we all need, the nurturing. It feels very bright in your life, a warmth. Now, we're going to do our 3 lucky numbers. Number 33, number 77, 33, 77, and 55. We have 33, 77, 55. Wow. That is... Oh my goodness. That is pretty cool. Pretty cool. We're on a repeating numbers day. Okay. This is our Wild Bohemian affirmation card deck, and it's cute. It's small. The artwork is out of this world. I'm going to stop where it feels right. And it says 20. I am love. I am love. Be playful in new and wildly delightful ways. Everything is simply energy. Everything is simply energy. All right, Taurus, I love you. I love you. I love you. I want to say thank you for being here with me. Again, if you have a book recommendation, if you have a prayer request, put it in the comments. I'd love to pray for you. Also, if you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I always want to hear from you. Other than that, please take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Let's all be safe. We're getting into summer, getting into winter in the southern hemisphere. When it gets cold, people get depressed, and that's just, they go together, and a lot of it is maybe lack of sunlight. Hopefully where you're at, you're getting all the vitamin D you need. But we really, in the colder months, need to check in with each other, and if you are feeling like, you need some support in your life, please reach out to your support people. I think a lot of times we feel like, and I'm somebody who has some pretty deep lows at times, and you've heard that in my readings if you've been here. There are periods of time where you can tell this girl is just, I'm in that Saturn landscape, right? Just way out there in the depths of melancholy. But when we get to a point where, we maybe need to talk to somebody, but we don't want to bother them, you know what? It's worth it. Bother them. Go out of your way to bother them if you have to. Reach out, please. Okay? You're not alone. And now here in the northern hemisphere, it's getting hotter and hotter, and people act wild. The news is a great example of that. But don't watch the news. Watch the news if you want to, but moderation. Moderation. So we got to look out for each other and look out for ourselves. This is, people get amped in this heat. Oh, it's going to be humid today too for us. Ooh, girl, it's a sweaty day. All right. Anyways, Taurus, I love you. We'll talk in a few days. Take care of yourself. Good night. Good night. Good night.